Today on Commander Replay, we're back with some more Haktos The Unscarred as we get a 17-turn look at what this commander can do. Can Haktos Mass Burn get us there? Find out next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have two new Patreon supporters, Dominic Patton and Bad Treeman. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon, the link below. And be sure to use the TCG affiliate player link as it helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. Welcome back everyone, playing some more Haktos The Unscarred. Take a look at this opening hand. I've gone ahead and kept it already. We've got 3 lands, Sword of the Animus, Burnished Heart, Gisela, Fault Line. So lots of mana ramp in this hand. I can appreciate that. And another land. Let's go ahead and play the Path of Ancestry right here. And then we'll pass turn. So taking another look at this commander. Hopefully no one gets disconnected in this one. Get ourselves a look at a nice 4-player game. That was the one thing I would say about the last game we played, is that the mana ramp did not show up early, which is like never amazing. And for how much mana ramp I run, I feel like that should never really be the case, but it was. Opponent lays down a turn 1 land tax. Seems pretty good. There's a Birds of Paradise for the Izoni. Signet for us. Ooh, interesting. So I guess we play the Plains, play the Signet. We can just cast our commander next turn. That's the thing that we can do. That'll get us a Scry also. So taking a look at what Haktos does, 4 mana for a 6/1, attacks each combat if able. When it enters the battlefield, choose 2, 3, or 4 at random, has protection from each converted mana cost other than the chosen number. Pretty interesting little card, and as I talked about in the first video, we're running a deck that's built around a lot of these burn spells, because as long as we pay the correct amount on X, Haktos is going to be protected from it, while our opponent's stuff is not, so trying to really make a lot of one-sided board wipes is the name of the game today. Notice multiple flyers in play. Fault Line does not hit flyers, sadly. Does hit players, though. Makes it pretty reasonable. And the fact that it's instant speed is very, very cool. Sky Diamond for opponent. Yep. Opponent did lay down an Aven Rift Watcher. It's a 2/3 flyer, vanishing 3. When it enters the battlefield or leaves the battlefield, gain 2 life. That's interesting. Oh, it's a rebel. I see what's going on. Okay, yeah. Rebel life gain. I see. Kodama's Reach for the Izoni. That'll bring it back to our turn. Oh, that's a Smothering Tithe. Oh, what? Smothering Tithe probably makes us like too much the target early on here. Like if we play it, everyone's got full hands. If they have removal, they're just going to use it on Smothering Tithe. So maybe we hold on to that for just one moment. Let us get the Mountain into play. Let's play Haktos. So we'll use the... Well, let's make sure we do all this the right way. Feed the Plains into the Boros Signet. Then do this. Path of Ancestry for white, and then Mountain for red. We'll get a Scry. It's a land on top. How do I feel about that? We've got one more land play lined up. I think I'm going to leave it on top. Get that second land play lined up. We are a deck full of big X spells, so you can never really have enough mana. And with that, we'll pass the turn. Opponent gets a Vanishing trigger and a land tax trigger. The chosen number, by the way, is 3, which is unfortunate. It means that we cannot equip the Sword of the Animus, like I was potentially hoping to do. And you will see some equipments in this deck. The goal is really to equip other stuff in the deck, not Haktos specifically. I tried not to go wild with the equipments in this one, really just trying to get some of the nice value equipments. Mask of Memory, Sword of the Animus, things that help you ramp and draw cards. Since the equipments are like really best suited to doing those sort of things, more so than other tools that Boros has. So, like, it is not out of the question if that I might suit up this Burnished Heart for a couple turns. We will see. So we do have protection from everything that is not 3. Notably, Lin Sivvi and Aven Rift Watcher are both 3, so we will not be going in that direction. Ooh, opponent's got the new pretty lands out of Theros Beyond Death. Cool. So we'll take a look at what our opponents are playing today. First up, we have Pauper Arbust piloting Lin Sivvi, Defiant Hero, and it looks like it's going to be Rebel Tribal. There's some interesting stuff you can do, especially because Mirror Entity is a changeling, so late in the game you can just grab that and make everything huge. Means you probably never want to go like too late against the Lin Sivvi. Also the ability to tutor the Rebel that they need most when they need it. Pretty good, and they can put Rebel cards from their graveyard onto the bottom of their library. Lot of abilities built into Lin Sivvi. Pretty cool little card. Probably doesn't see quite enough play based on the number of things that it can do, but I get it. It's an older commander. It's been around for a very long time, so. Tribe Elder coming in for the Izoni opponent. With that, that'll bring it back to our turn. There's that land we talked about. Play that land we talked about. Oh, choices here. We could go Smothering Tithe. We could go Burnished Heart. We could go Burnished Heart, Sword of the Animist. Are things that we could do. Izoni has life gain built in, doesn't it? Yeah, gain 1 life, draw a card. Okay. That's a 1 and a 2. We seem to be protected from everything they have going on, so we'll send Haktos over their way. I'm going to play the Burnished Heart, play the Sword of the Animist, and hope none of it gets blown up, is really what we're doing. Rift Watcher taken down, and a land tax trigger. Continuing on our opponents, by the way. Next up, we have Fish Said Fish piloting Thassa Deep Dwelling. They said it's not mono-blue combo, so don't know exactly what that means, but hopefully we'll be in for a relatively fair game, even though that's not really blue shtick. But we'll take a look at what it does. Brand new card out of Theros Beyond Death. So it's a 4-mana 6/5 indestructible. As long as your devotion to blue is less than 5, it's not a creature. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 other target creature you control, then return that battlefield under your control. So this is Conjurer's Closet on an indestructible creature. Pretty cool. And then you can pay 4 to tap another target creature. You'd be surprised. Late in the game, tapping down other creatures is surprisingly relevant. It makes big things not attack you and makes blocking a nightmare for opponents. Tapping someone's thing out, like at an awkward spot in the turn cycle, means that they don't have blockers for a very long period of time. And that is the type of stuff that can matter and just, throw your game plans off. And oftentimes just make you lose because you don't have blockers now and random junk can come in and kill you. So, pretty cool set of abilities on Thassa. We'll see what kind of stuff they've got going. I'm going to imagine a lot of ETBs. Opponent's got some things going on. They get themselves a Cho Mano Revolutionary. Yeah. Looks like they did that off of the Lin Sivvi ability. And they're going to use all that to crew up the Smuggler's Copter into us. It's going to loot. And that's why it is called the Looter Scooter. No blocks here. So we take a hit for 3. Opponent loots a land. Opponent's going to crack a Myriad Landscape, sure. Our final opponent, by the way, is Champion of Thune piloting Izoni Thousand-Eyed. We were joking with Fish after the last game where they got disconnected, saying that Magic Online has lots of bugs. So Champ said he decided to grab his Izoni deck because Izoni does in fact make a bunch of bugs when it comes into play. AKA 1/1 black and green insect creature tokens, which are good for sacrificing, drawing cards, and gaining life. Oh, opponent just miracled the Devastation Tide. Gross. Opponent's going to sack their Sakura Tribuilder. Yup. See, many people say that, if you ban Rift, blue has nothing left. A Devastation Tide is a perfectly acceptable card. Rift is just so good that it makes you forget about the 6 other options that exist. See, the thing I like about Devastation Tide is that it makes the owner give something up also. It's still really good, but any mana rocks they had in play, creatures, anything like that, also gets bounced. So, true to the way that most board wipes work in this game is they have to potentially give something up, or try to find a way to play around it to make it as one-sided as possible, where Rift costs you nothing ever. You never have to give anything up by overloading a Rift other than the 7 mana. Skull Clamp coming back to play for opponent. Ooh, we're going to want to get that Smothering Tithe in if they're going to be Skull Clamp and stuff. Yep, Skull Clamp on the birds. Well, can't do much about it with the Devastation Tide anyway, but we can shut down additional Skull Clamp type plays, or at least get some benefit out of them ourselves. There's a Brave the Sands, pretty good card for this deck. So, play the Plains. Let's get the Signet, and then let's get the Smothering Tithe. So, Brave the Sands is a card that I've been wanting to put in a deck for a very long time. Oh, I think we're getting countered. Opponent's going to Factor Fiction. Okay, as long as it's not a free counter, we're in good shape. No free counters. Okay. We got 3 lands, a Spellbook, and a Solemn Simulacrum. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Dust Bowl could be annoying. Buried Ruin could be a little annoying late in the game. Opponent's going to go 3 lands versus 2 non-lands. Seems fine. Nope. Not like that. Okay. They've switched it to 1 land, Solemn Simulacrum, plus the other 3. Seems fine. Personally, I'd probably go land... Nope, still messing with it. Back to where we were before. All right. 3 lands versus 2 non-lands. Opponent goes to the 2 non-lands. All right. So, Smothering Tithe into play. Held my breath for a moment. Thought we were getting countered. Thank God we weren't. Anyway, continuing what I was saying. Brave the Sands, card that I've been wanting to get into a deck for a while. This is a really good deck for Brave the Sands because Haktos is forced to attack. Being able to block and potentially block twice and being protected from a large number of creatures in play makes Brave the Sands really good for this deck. It has so many times been like the 101st card that I've cut from a deck. You guys don't even know so many times decks that I've built over the years that Brave the Sands is in there till like the very end where I'm just like, well, I need to get the video done, so gotta cut something. Brave the Sands coming out. And in a world where now people just torment of Hellfire you on like turn 7, it's lost a little bit of value. People need to be doing the creature thing for Brave the Sands to carry the weight that it used to. But if they are doing the creature thing and you're playing something like Haktos, it is going to be really, really good for this particular commander. So I am excited that it is in the deck and that we have some potential to get it into play in the next turn or two here. So yeah. While I was doing all that talking, Lin Sivvi recast all their stuff. We got Soul Ring, Land Tax, Smuggler's Copter, and Lin Sivvi back to play. They did give us a treasure token, Smothering Tithe, trigger on Thassa. They give us the token. Opponent's going to crack a Fabled Passage, sure. Oh, that's a High Tide. High Tide is the card you see right before you lose. It's a Cage Sun. Cage Sun will make you lose a game. We have no artifact and enchantment removal currently. Seems bad. And a Solemn Simulacrum. More lands. Alright, so Thassa now set up. We don't play a spellbook. They have no maximum hand size. They are down to 3 cards in hand. If they want to go wild, that'll give us a lot of mana with the Smothering Tithe. Here comes the Lifecrafter's Bestiary for the Izoni. Yeah. That's a Repercussion. It's a pretty good card. So we make it back to our turn with 2 treasure tokens. We have 2, 3, 8 total mana. Think I'm on Haktos Burnished Heart. So we'll get a Scry one off the Path of Ancestry. I think I'm just looking for a land right now. Another burn spell wouldn't be terrible with the Repercussion. There's a land. We'll keep the land on top. And then I guess we just play the Burnished Heart. Take us 2 treasures to be able to sack the Burnished Heart. And chosen number is 3 once again. And we'll pass like that. It's going to be a Return to Dust on our Smothering Tithe and on the Cage Sun. The Cage Sun definitely needs to go. From our opponent's point of view, the Smothering Tithe probably has to go. I was hoping that would stick around a little bit, but at least we still have 2 treasure tokens left, so just still getting a little bit of extra mana, but we will need to sacrifice the Burnished Heart at some point, get some lands going. Aven Riftwatcher coming back to play does make me a little less nervous, though, about just straight losing to the blue player, because blue decks with a mana doubler is usually how they win. Opponents can activate Lin Sivvi X1, gets themselves Ramosian Sergeant. They can pay 3, search your library for a Rebel permanent with converted mana cost 2 or less, put it onto the battlefield. Seems fine. And they'll use that to crew the Smuggler's Copter. Send the Copter our way. Sadness. Thassa Deep Welling coming into play. Seems pretty good with the Solemn Simulacrum sticking around. See if anyone wants to remove either half of that. Sky Diamond coming back to play. So opponent gets their end step trigger with Thassa. Targets the Solemn Simulacrum. Gets themselves a land. Izoni will get a Scry trigger with the Lifecrafter's Bestiary on their upkeep. Here comes Izoni into play. They can pay a green if they want to, draw a card. They do not. Gets themselves 2 insect tokens. And they're going to Skull Clamp an insect. Unfortunately, our Smothering Tithe no longer in play. Was hoping to guard against that sort of stuff. And going to Skull Clamp the other insect. Opponent draws a lot of cards. Yep. Up to 9 cards in hand. Probably makes them the threat at this point. There's the plains we looked at. Play the plains. Play the Brave the Sands. And we'll have exactly enough to play the Sword of the Animist. Equip Sword of the Animist. Let's do some attacking. Yeah, Izoni just drew a bunch, and the blue deck is actually low on cards, so I think I'm just going to send everything over to Izoni. And we have exactly 3 mana left, which is enough to crack the Burnished Heart, which I like. We're going to get this land off the Sword of the Animist, so next turn we're going to have a lot more mana to our name, which I'm really feeling. We can start looking at some sense of Fault Line, Gisela, and Repercussion. How much red mana do we actually have? Not very much. Let's get a mountain. Opponent's going to block our Burnished Heart. That's fine. That'll kill their commander. They'll be able to recast their commander, which is annoying. But not before they take 6 more commander. They're up to 12, down to 28 life. And we'll pass turn like that. Next turn, if we cast Gisela and they don't have a blocker, we can just commander damage them out of the game. So that's a thing to think about. Ooh, that's a Heartstone for opponent. That means it'll cost us 1 less to activate our Burnished Heart. Also 1 less for Thassa to tap stuff down. It's relevant. Chomano back to play. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to it. Makes Fault Line Repercussion not so good against the Cho mana. Opponent going to crew the Smuggler's Copter again. Yep. Can attack the Thassa opponent. Sounds good to me. Put a little damage on them. They take a hit for 3. Opponent does do some looting. Loots another land. They've been land taxing like crazy, so yeah. Land tax plus a lot of looting. Pretty good. Impressive. Opponent's got all their lands as the new Theros land. Apprentice Wizard. There's one you don't see much of. For those that aren't familiar, it's out of, I believe, Alpha was the original printing. And 3 mana 0/1, pay a blue to make 3 colorless mana, so that'll net you 2 colorless mana. At this point, essentially a bad Worn Power Stone, but if you are needing additional Worn Power Stones, then it's a card you can choose. Why not just go for Palladium Mirror? I don't know. In the event that you need all of the Worn Power Stones. And Thassa is going to trigger at the end step, targeting the Solemn Simulacrum. Yep. Ooh, opponent's going to Swords the Solemn Simulacrum. Seems like a thing that probably needs to happen. And opponent's going to Ghostly Flicker the Solemn Simulacrum and the Sky Diamond. Okie dokie. Fizzled that. That was their last card, though. And seeing a blue deck with no cards in hand is unusual and does make me very happy. This also seems like a fine time to crack our Burnish chart. Doesn't seem like there's anything going on that we're going to need it to stick around for, so let's go ahead and crack the Burnish chart right here with all the stuff on the stack. We'll get one of each. I know Ameri is in the deck, and we probably should work towards that, but we are on 5 planes, so we're not too far away. Still got the Sword of the Animist in place, so we just need to find something to equip it to, and that can get us the rest of the way. But we do have multiple red costs in hand, so I do want to have some red mana available. So Solemn Simulacrum comes back. We'll get another mana. Here comes a Reclamation Sage. Let's see what this is going after. I don't think anything of ours. Oh, it's got CMC3. That means they can block. Sadness. Well, not if we use the Fault Line, I guess. But I don't think we're going to have enough mana to go Fault Line, Repercussion, and Gisela all at once. I guess we could. I guess we just need to go Fault Line Gisela for the win. Or not for the win, but to take down the Izoni. Once they Skull Clamp it, they might Skull Clamp it. What did they hit? They hit the Smuggler's Copter. Doesn't want opponent looting anymore. There's an Arbor Elf. That's a damnation. Alright, our plans are going to go away. Solemn Simulacrum will get to draw a card. Even Rift Watcher will gain 2 life. Here's a Clifftop Retreat. Play the Clifftop Retreat. Let's get that Gisela. We are unfortunately 1 short of being able to recast our commander. We could cast Repercussion right here, but I'm not going to do that. I do not want to show opponents. Gisela's already enough of an attention getter as it is. I definitely don't want to show opponents Repercussion and Gisela all at once. Hopefully, if we can untap with Gisela, seems unlikely. Well, the white opponent's got a lot of lands in hand. I don't know exactly how many. The green-black opponent might still have some stuff. They drew some answers. They've been drawing cards like crazy, so we'll see how this goes. But yeah, definitely want to hold this back, because if we just cough all this stuff into play with opponents that have answers still, they're definitely going to use answers on us. Lin Sivvi back to play. Outrider in core. The next 1 damage that will be dealt to Outrider in core this turn is dealt to target creature you control instead. That could play some havoc with our Fault Line Repercussion plan. Although I guess I don't think it stops the damage, just redirects it, right? More importantly, that was opponent not using removal on our Gisela. Maybe this deck needs another damage doubler. Still kind of feeling out a lot of things as playing through these, first 4 or 5 games here, and really trying to hone in on the direction. And I'm thinking maybe it does want to be a bit more of a burn deck. Opponent has no legal targets for the Thassa. There's a Cabal Coffers for opponent. Yeah, that's where the trouble's going to start. No Urborg in play yet, but they do have a couple swamps. Appears to be mana neutral. Duplicate's going to get rid of our Gisela. That's bad news. Opponent's going to draw a card. Cool. Yep, there's Duplicate on Gisela. Need opponent to just, put 2 or 3 more creatures in play. Opponent's going to play a Nature's Lore. Stays with a single creature. Opponent's going to strip mine their Cabal Coffers. Down for that. Opponent's going to put a Skull Clamp on the Duplicate. Sure. Did not cough down the number of creatures that I was hoping. There's a Fire Song and Sunspeaker. That's interesting. I guess we're casting Fire Song and Sunspeaker. And then I think we recast our commander. This will also get us a Scry, which I like. So we'll Scry 1. Ooh, Sunhome, you say. Not really looking for another land. I think we need gas. Chosen number is 3 once again. It's been not an amazing number for us. Lin Sivvi and the Outrider both in play. Both are 3. Need to get Izoni to commit some creatures to the board, and then it's repercussion time. I'm hoping we don't have to wait too long. Next turn I might cast repercussion regardless of what they do, unless some real wild stuff happens, but opponent going to try and tap the Lin Sivvi. The Lin Sivvi can just activate in response if they want to. They won't get the benefit of knowing what their draw for the turn is, but they're going to activate in response. Oh, nope, they're going to put target rebel from their graveyard onto the bottom of their library. It's going to be the Cho-Mano. Oh yeah, Cho-Mano with the Outrider seems good. It would in fact soak up all of our fault line damage, I believe. Or at least from those two. Then they're going to misspell playing Swords of Plowshares back to the bottom. The opponent's going to activate X4. Get the Cho-Mano. Get the Cho-Mano. Like I said, very relevant against what we're doing. Tap the Outrider in core. Removes the blocker from opponent. Arcane Signet coming in for opponent. Puts another Rebel back to the bottom of their library. Didn't see which one it was. I don't see Aven in the graveyard, so probably the Aven. Pondering Mage for opponent. Enters battle. If you look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order. You may shuffle your library, draw a card, so ponder on a creature. Seems good with the Thassa in play. We'll get them some additional cards to look at. And not a whole lot we can do about it at the moment. This opponent's going to use the end step trigger on the Pondering Mage. Yep, seems good. And none of those cards are revealed, so we do not know what they have. The opponent goes up to 3 cards in hand. Not a bad turn. Getting to the point of the game where fighting for any additional card draw is going to be a big game, so would not mind looking at a few extra cards myself. Commune with Lava? Is Commune with Lava in this deck? I don't know if it's in this deck. Commune with Lava may not have made the cut just because this deck's full of a lot of big X spells, and Commune with Lava not the best with big X spells, but we do have a lot of mana, so maybe that's a reason for it. Gaia's Cradle into play for our opponent. Ugh. Well, that'll probably get us the creatures that we've been wanting to get into play. Here comes that Izoni. Yep. Probably going to make a few insects. The Gaia's Cradle is going to be so much mana. Ooh, nice! Opponent's going to strip mine the Gaia's Cradle before the insects resolve. That's good thinking. And with that, we might be able to kill them. Oh, they're going to Heroic Intervention. Okay. Well, that's good. That gets rid of the Heroic Intervention right now. Still probably going to Skull Clamp a number of them. We'll see what actually sticks around and doesn't. Can't pay the green right here. Going to leave the Gaia's Cradle untapped. Here come the insects. Looks like 4. Opponent makes 6 mana. Ugh. Don't Skull Clamp them all. Ashnod's Altar. No. Sack outlets. Sack outlets are so annoying. Here's a Cryptolith Right. Opponent can really make some mana. None of this stuff can block Haktos. We'll put them on 18 commander damage, but we don't have a way to get that last little bit that we need. Opponent Skull Clamps and Ashnod's Altars the duplicate. Wear Tear off the top would be ideal. Here's a Verdant Sun's Avatar. That'll gain them a bunch of life. I guess the other thing to think about, too, is how much can we fault line for? Opponent's up to 33. So they're at 33 and probably about to be climbing. If we could get rid of the sack outlet, then... yeah, I'm going to Skull Clamp another one. Yeah, if we get rid of the sack outlet, then Repercussion and fault line, you start to think about enough damage happening that you might be able to take them out. But with those sticking around, absolutely not. We need a big draw. Sunscorched Regent. Meh, it's fine. What things do we need to get done this turn? We probably need to get the Repercussion in, even though they have the sack outlet. We're not the only ones with incentive to get rid of it. Would like to get an additional land off the Sword of the Animist. If we do that, that means we won't be able to fault line for very much. Problem is, if we don't oh man. I know we're about to get destroyed with value. That's all a thing that's about to happen. I guess equip the Sword of the Animist. Opponent's got a Cho-Mano, no reason to attack over there. Haktos into the Izoni player, I guess Fire Song into the blue player. So we get a Sword of the Animist trigger. Let's get a Plains, try to get a Maria ready. Opponent has a good synopsis of it. It's not technically Voltron, but it does have an annoyingly persistent clock. And that's kind of the goal. Goal of what we're doing. Someone mentioned it that Haktos would be much better at 7 power. This would be a lethal hit if Haktos did in fact have 7 power. The difference between a 4-turn clock and a 3-turn clock is pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. Alright, so, I mean, I guess we cast Repercussion. And then do we... the question is, do we leave the mana up for fault line, or do we Sunscorch Regent? Fault Line will gain us a lot of life, but like I just don't know how we stop the value train over there. I think I'm gonna go with the mana untapped. Tapping out feels risky. Just feels real risky. That's a true conviction for the mono white player. Seems good. See what kind of attacking they want to do. Repercussion makes it all very interesting. Opponent's going to send the Outrider and Core over to the mono blue player. Starting to just get little chips over to the blue opponent. This will thankfully put them below 30. Opponent's going to overload a Rift. I guess that's going to happen. Oh, that's going to slow us down so much, especially compared to the amount of mana that the green-black player can generate. It's going to be a problem for us. We're unfortunately in the wrong spot for that Rift, too, because if we could get Sunscorch Regent down before opponents have the chance to recast a lot of stuff, makes Sunscorch Regent really huge. Opponent's going to activate Gaia Reach Sanitarium. Ooh, I don't know what I want to get rid of. Signet, maybe? Combustible Gear Hulk is a card. I think it's going to be... is it the Sunscorch Regent? I mean, Fault Line actually just hasn't been that good up to this moment. But it is an important piece of removal that if we get rid of it, doesn't seem great. Maybe we can just end step Fault Line on opponent. Yeah, I guess the Regent makes me sad, but Regent is ideally something you want a bit earlier and with a bit less bounce in the game. Opponent's gonna snap the Pondering Mage back to their hand. Gross. We could Fault Line right now, but we need to hit Izoni in the process. Here comes Pondering Mage back to play. Thematic Compass for opponent. Opponent grabs a land with a Compass. Opponent's going to get an end step Thassa trigger, and the Compass will flip over. Here comes Izoni back to play. Yep. I'm glad they did this before they recast the sack outlets. That means we might be able to get them at least a little bit. Here come the tokens. Here comes a Zendikar Resurgent. That'll give them doubled mana. Yeah, might as well. Yeah, let it resolve. Let it resolve. See if we can get one more creature before we have to pop it. Here comes the altar. Okay, it's Fault Line time. X is going to be 4. What did opponent just do? Sanctum return target commander Yuan from the graveyard from your battlefield to your hand. Gross. So they got a couple things cast. And there's a Growing Rites of Vitlamok for, well, it won't flip over this turn, but if the game goes much longer, they're going to have a lot of mana. Opponent's down to 23. That's cool. We draw Iroas. Iroas is cool. I think this turn I'm on Combustible Gear Hulk and get Haktos back to play. And probably the Signet. Play the Gear Hulk. Oh, opponent reveals a Champion of Lambholt. Oh, that's going to be bad. Put the Combustible Gear Hulk trigger on the Izoni. We get Blasphemous Act and 2 lands. Sack Outlet's still a problem. Does that meaningfully change the stuff that we can play? Haktos is good because it forces them to have to interact. Fire Song is good because if we go Blasphemous Act, Repercussion, it's a lot of damage. We'd get a Scry if we recast Haktos. Yeah, I think I'm still on Haktos right here. Get the Signet, recast Haktos. Scry Wheel of Fortune, huh? Think we're going to be needing that, so with that being the case, leave that on top and then just play the Battlefield Forge. So we don't accidentally crack the land. We have a lot of gas. I'm not really excited to give that up, but opponents do know that we have the Blasphemous Act. So I guess the thing we can do right here is, even if we can't get opponent with the Repercussion, just by virtue of having the Blasphemous Act, they shouldn't have any blockers left, which means we can just come in and attack them. Idyllic Tutor for the mono white opponent. They get a Grasp of Fate. Non-land permanent. Does not hit the Cradle. Does hit the Growing Rites. Opponent's going to cast it. So Grasp of Fate coming in for opponent. They're going to try to clean up some of the issues. So with the Grasp of Fate, opponent goes for our Signet, the Zendikar Resurgent, and what was the final piece? Oh, Thassa Deep Welling, and Thassa just goes back to the command zone. Opponent then follows that up with a Knight of the Holy Nimbus. Fun little card. Opponent's going to transmute a Dizzy spell. There's a Relic of Progenitus. That's a good one. That's how you stop a green-black deck. And they're just going to go ahead and crack that Relic right now. Yeah. All about that. Draws themselves a card. Opponent's going to activate the Gaia Reach Sanitarium, see what we look at. Do we scry? I think we scried. There's the Wheel of Fortune that we looked at. So I'm gonna get rid of the Sword of the Animist right here. There's a really small number of basics left in the deck, probably about 2 or 3. And also, I've kind of got the turn planned out. I think it's gonna be a while before we actually get that Sword of the Animist in. It's probably more likely to come in off of a Sun Titan than anything at this point in the game. So blue player taps out to recast their Thassa. Has only the spires open. I like the sound of that. Things are reasonably well set up for us to at least try to get the green-black player out of here and then do some big damage to the white player. If we found Stuffy Doll off the top, that would be pretty cool. It's a Bane of Progress that gets rid of our Combustible Gear Hulk, gets rid of the Grasp of Fate, brings back our Signet. That does get rid of opponent's sack outlet. That's a thing. So our Gear Hulk goes down. The Bane of Progress is a 10-10. Opponent can draw 10 cards now or something like that. Gets their Zendikar Resurgent back. That's pretty nasty. We have 2 mana open. Anything we can do at instant speed doesn't look like it. Here's an Abundance for opponent. There's the Champion of Lampholt. Haktos is on 4 currently, so Champion not a blocker. Opponent gets to draw a card. They do have Abundance, so they get to choose what they want to draw. Springbloom Druid coming in. Yep. More creatures is good for our repercussion. Also good for our Blasphemous Act. So Champion will trigger, Springbloom will trigger. Kind of setting up our next turn. We'll have 14 mana available with this land. Blasphemous Act will be 3. Repercussion will be 3. That's 6 total. 12 total for the Fire Song, and then probably 2 for the Brave the Sands. Oh, it's a Plaguecrafter. Okay. Opponent found it. That'll change the math on Blasphemous Act pretty dramatically. But I guess we're no longer going to need Brave the Sands this turn. So we'll sacrifice Haktos back to the command zone. Skull Clamp into play. Yep. Nothing that will die to Skull Clamp right now, which is really important. Skull Clamp, the Bane of Progress. There's an Odric. I don't think that does much for us this turn. Play the Flooded Strand. Big question is, do we Fire Song first? That would gain us a ton of life if we do. But then we lose Fire Song to the Blasphemous Act, and I don't love that. So I'm thinking Fire Song after the Blasphemous Act. We won't gain the life, but we're still at 30, so we're not doing too bad. Just so we have the creature left over afterwards. But we do really need to get rid of this green-black player. They've been a thorn in our side and are just going to continue to keep drawing cards and removing things until they eventually combo off. They are well set up with a Zendikar Resurgent. They've got damage with the Bane of Progress, so let's lay down this Repercussion. Let's play this Blasphemous Act, and then bid them good game. So Skull Clamp happens, and a bunch of Repercussion triggers. And that is one upside to this deck, is that this deck can win without having to attack. And that's something really big that not a lot of Boros decks get to say. That is a tool available to the more burn-based decks, things like Fire Song, things like some builds of Gisela. So that is a very nice thing that don't always have to rely on the attacks to get through. That does leave us some questions what to do within our second main phase here. I think it's just going to be Fire Song and Sunspeaker. Fire Song seems like a nice play. Decent sized body. Could go for the Iroas and the Brave the Sands or something else, but we're just going to do this. Here's Plateau. Opponent says the Red Dream. Yes, indeed. Opponent's going to activate the Gaia Reach Sanitarium. We take a look at a Sacred Foundry. I guess we're just going to discard the Sacred Foundry because everything else is gas for us, so. Opponent recast their Lin Sivvi for a whole bunch of mana. Put some +1/+1 counters on it, though, with the Opal Palace. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Soul Ring. Opponent's got a bunch of untapped mana, which is always scary. Lin Sivvi is a 4/6. Can't attack into that profitably. I guess we could with Iroas, but... so let's play the Soul Ring. Let's get Odric. Odric is a human, which means we can scry. So we'll use the Path of Ancestry. Land on top. Don't think we need that. Put that to the bottom. Let's get Iroas. Iroas is going to get Arcane denialed. Makes me sad. Really felt a lot better just having Iroas as opposed to not having it. Play Brave the Sands. Then Wheel of Fortune. Maybe we could have waited till next turn to Wheel of Fortune. That's entirely possible. But you never know what's going to go wrong in that time either. We look at some things. Here's a Mask of Memory. I think I like that one. There's a Tithe. Play the Arid Mesa. Actually, no. Play the Strip Mine, honestly. Arid Mesa I want to use to go get the Mistveil Plains. Play the Mask of Memory. Opponent's got the Compass, so none of this is getting through. Put Mask of Memory on the Fire Song. So next turn we've got True Conviction and Sun Titan. Sun Titan looks like it's only getting Sword of the Animist or a land. Those aren't the most exciting. Do have a bit of removal with Return to Dust, and that might bail us out of some trouble. We'll see. Yeah, I probably should have waited on the Wheel of Fortune. Mass Bounce. Opponent's going to tap our creature. Okay. Okie dokie. There's the Arcane Denial trigger for us. I am actually looking forward to that card draw. Use the ability. Draw 2 cards. Chroma's Memorial is cool. Still looking for some more burn. Mind Stone for opponent. And Chroma's Memorial is importantly haste. Oh, that's a Pariah. Opponent's going to put Pariah on Lin Sivvi. So if we get the Outrider and then Cho Mano, this all seems bad. Surprisingly, they didn't go for Cho Mano first. Maybe they just don't have the mana. There's a Smothering Tithe. I guess we do have the Return to Dust. We'll probably want to Return to Dust the Pariah. Counterspell on the Smothering Tithe seems like a good idea. Also glad that's a card not getting used in our direction. We've got a couple bombs we can drop on our next turn. We've got Sun Titan, True Conviction, and a Chroma's Memorial. Check out our mana situation. With the land drop, we'd be at 18, so we could go 6-drop, 6-drop. We won't have room for the 7-drop, sadly. There's some boots for the Lin Sivvi. Equip the boots. So the worst thing Thassa could do would just be like pass with all their mana up. There's a Mana Vault for opponent. Extraplanar Lens. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, we have a target for Return to Dust. Can be Pariah and Extraplanar Lens. Look like the two best things right here. Oh, the fact that Sun Titan can get a land is relevant to our mana costs. There's a Gaia Reach Sanitarium. Probably going to discard the Boros Garrison. There's a Dowsing Dagger. Yeah, discard the Boros Garrison. Ooh, opponent's got a Mystic Sanctuary. Putting the All Is Dust back on top. Gross. Hopefully they don't have card draw. Here's a Cloud of Fairies. There's the Gaia Reach Sanitarium. Ugh. Gross. Well, that's an Aurelia the War Leader. What do we discard? Probably the Tithe? Herod Mesa? Herod Mesa can only get Mistveil Plains. Yeah, discard the Tithe. Opponent passes into combat. Odric will trigger. Aurelia is a second source of haste with Odric still in play too. It's also important. There's a Selfless Spirit. Play the land. See how much counter magic opponent has. Try the Sun Titan. Actually, let's try the True Conviction. True Conviction will be the bait right here. Opponent's going to activate Gaia Reach Sanitarium. There's a new Benalia. Might keep that around for next turn. Discard the Selfless Spirit. What do they discard? Discard the Gilded Lotus. True Conviction resolves. Return to Dust on Pariah and Extraplanar Lens. Opponent's going to tap Fire Song and Sunspeaker. It's going to tap Odric. All Is Dust is a real problem. Opponent can tap one more creature, which is really bad. Got 8 mana left. With an All Is Dust in hand. I guess that puts me on, like, Sun Titan? Oh, man. Anything we play, we just lose. Guess it's got to be a Chroma's Memorial. Crack Arid Mesa. Opponents can activate Lin Sivvi X2. Here's a Defiant Falcon. Searches for Rebels 3 or less. Get the Mistveil Plains. And I guess we pass like that and get crushed by this All Is Dust. Here's a Darksteel Plate for opponent. Put Darksteel Plate on Lin Sivvi. Odric triggers. Yeah, and this is what I was talking about early on, is that ability to tap creatures late in the game is really, really disruptive. We're going to have a hard time alpha striking. Opponent's going in with the 1-1. Deadly. Opponent just going to Spires it. Sure. Oh, God, they still have Spires, too. It's going to take so many creatures to get through that. I really wish I held back the True Conviction now. Double strike on Haktos would be a really big deal. Opponent's going to tap down the Defiant Falcon. Sure. And there's the All Is Dust. I'm going to lose some good stuff. Fire Song, Odric, Brave the Sands, Repercussion, and True Conviction. Opponent's going to activate Lin Sivvi in response. They're going to putting something back on the bottom. I didn't see what one of the rebels. Puts another rebel back to the bottom. This one is the Lawbringer. Exiles target red creature. Seems good against us. Mistveil Plains, Smothering Tithe back to the bottom. Opponent plays Academy Ruins. That's a good one. Burnished Heart, Gilded Lotus, Spellbook, Sky Diamond, Arcane Signet in the graveyard currently. There's Thassa. Still got the Spires on tap, which is going to stop quite a bit of damage. We draw swords, so I think we're on Commander Aurelius Sun Titan. Let's get Haktos. We get to scry one. It's a Magma Quake. Magma Quake was better a moment ago, but I think I'm going to keep it right there. Let's get Aurelia. I don't know if we're going to have enough for everything. Actually, we should get Sun Titan first. Sun Titan gets lands. Ooh, yeah, okay, we need to get land. We need like a double land, really. Got 10. New Benalia comes in tapped. It's frustrating. 10. Sun Titan for a land would put us on 11, which makes us 1 short. Doing both. Just make sure there's nothing with 2. Could use an Ancient Tomb. Yeah, I guess it's Aurelia then. Chosen number on Haktos is 2, by the way, which means we can put the Mask of Memory on it, which I'll probably do, because it's harder for opponent to interact with that. The other thing we could do, we have a 4 left. We could go Dowsing Dagger. That's all unfortunate. If we have one more, we'd go Dowsing Dagger and Mask of Memory, but I'm going to go Mask of Memory. Everything to the blue player. Aurelia will trigger. And, opponent against Spires? Haktos? The chosen number is 2. Wow, Spires has converted mana cost 2. I forgot about that. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, this game's going to drag on for a while then. And that's going to deny us the card draw. Awesome. And send in Aurelia. Oh, Haktos has to attack. And we had a Strip Mine. Could have used a Strip Mine. Oh, crap. Oh, Mask triggers. Oh, that only removes it from combat. That's not a full turn one. Maze of Ith is full turn. So we do get 1 Mask hit right there, which I do like. Discard. What are we discarding? Solemn Simulacrum. There's not really lands left to get with Solemn Simulacrum, but it could draw us a card. Yeah, discard the Solemn Simulacrum. Okay, that worked out. Opponent's down to 12. We have a Magma Quake. Play the new Benalia. Scry 1. Thran Dynamo on top. Could use more gas. Play the Dowsing Dagger. Tokens to the white opponent. And pass turn. Alright, that turn could have gone a little better. I'm starting to get a little rushed. I gotta leave the house really soon. Ooh, opponent's got an active Emeria. Gets back the Devout Chaplain. Tap it. Tap 2 humans you control. Exile target artifact or enchantment. Oh, that seems really good. Here comes Lin Sivvi back to play. Opponent's going to put boots on Lin Sivvi. Okay. Hits a 5/7 and they do the +1 counter thing. Did Repercussion get exiled? No, it's in our graveyard. We can get Repercussion back with Sun Titan. That might be the play. Repercussion, Magma Quake, Sun Titan. Seems like where we want to be. Opponent puts the Darksteel Plate on the Lin Sivvi. 1 open mana. Thassa and Mana Vault will trigger. So, Spellseeker for opponent. Gross. Gets Runaway Together. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by different players. Return those creatures to their owner's hands. Ugh. It's gonna bounce Haktos and bounce... I didn't see the other one. Oh, their spell Hujima, what's it? Spellseeker. Okay, Spellseeker coming back. Curse of Swine for opponent. Don't think that saves them. I think we can... Magma Quake can finish it for us. There's the castle. Master of Waves. Protection from red. Ugh. It's going to make some 1/0 elementals. Those don't have protection from red. Opponent's got 1 blue mana open, so 1 card left in hand. It's the Curse of Swine, so no counter spells. Yeah, we're free on the Magma Quake plan right now. All right, brings it back to our turn. There's a Rolling Earthquake, just to be doubly sure. Sun Titan. Get back Repercussion. Use the ability. Play Magma Quake. Guess we just go X11 on the Magma Quake. Bunch of Repercussion triggers going off. X10. Opponent's going to Lin Sivvi X2. Okay. There's a Children of Corliss. Oh, they're going to gain a bunch of life back. Gross. So they go back up to 35. Blue player finally goes down. Opponent's at 25. I guess we Mask of Memory on Aurelia? Go to combat. Get a Sun Titan trigger. Get Selfless Spirit seems like a good idea. Give ourselves a little bit of protection. Mask of Memory will trigger. We draw 2. There's a Subterranean Tremors. I guess just discard the land. Sun Titan, get back probably a land right here. Yeah, get back the command tower. Yeah, that'll give us the ability to sit on Swords of Plowshares. Opponents are going to need a Rest in Peace, so Swords of Plowshares gives us the ability to exile 1 thing. Ooh, Wear Terror and a Mana Crypt. Discard the Rolling Earthquake. Actually, yeah, discard Rolling Earthquake. Probably should have just got another land, right? Play the Mana Crypt. We could go X2 on a Subterranean Tremors. That's not enough to kill opponent. Well, we've got a little bit of mana up. Opponent's got an Amaria. Gonna get themselves the Devout Chaplain. Opponent's gonna crack a Mind Stone. Gonna try to put boots on the Chaplain. We will exile the Chaplain. Opponent's gonna Wrath of God. We will Selfless Spirit. Opponent's gonna Lin Sivvi. Yep. Task Force. Becomes target of a spell or ability. It gets +0/+3 until end of turn. Gauntlets of Light. Science damage equal to toughness. Okay. Opponent puts the boots on it. It gets bigger. It's a 111. Opponent's going to send in the 111. We are not indestructible. So I guess we take it. Brings it back to our turn. Mana Crypt flip. Tails. 1 the flip. Here's a Star of Extinction. Go to combat. Send in both. Aurelia trigger, Sun Titan trigger. Sun Titan, get back the Selfless Spirit. Use the ability. And down they go. Alright, so pretty long game right there. I think it was about 15 turns. One of the things to think about is that the blue player, Fish Said Fish, they're still kind of working out the win condition for their deck, exactly what they want to be. If they had a bit more focused win con, they probably hit theirs before we hit ours, especially with all the mass bounce and stuff. But yeah, in the game, we did run into a couple mass bounce, at least one board wipe. We saw the Bane of Progress. That did slow down a lot of the things that we were trying to do. But overall, we had enough good cards in the deck that we were able to just keep slamming them and eventually get some sort of value going with all that, and that got us there. As far as what I think the ceiling on Haktos looks like, if you're a fan of the A through D plus S tiers classification, this is what I think of Haktos. I think my current build that I've got right now is probably about a C tier, and I think Haktos probably maxes out around a B tier, would be my guess. But if this is a commander that you really want to push to the max, you know, don't let me stop you, go out there and do your thing. There's always a chance that you can push it a little bit higher than that with top-notch card choices and excellent piloting. But in general, I think this is going to max out around a B-tier commander based on what Haktos brings and the type of deck that you can build around it. I think you're always going to be looking at some sort of mass burn as kind of the centerpiece of the deck. But to me, that means you could also take this in another direction of really going hard on like the damage doublers, some punishment effects, maybe like an Ankh of Mishra, that sort of stuff. You can probably make gameplay really uncomfortable for your opponents and get their life totals down pretty quickly doing something like that. So that's something that I'd be interested to check out as well, you know, really loading up on punishment effects, sulfuric vortex and spell shock, that sort of stuff, and then trying to make those as one-sided as possible. Things like the Wanderer will stop damage incoming to you. I gotta see what other cards are available that actually stop the damage hitting you as well. That way we can still go wild with the burn spells and the punishment stuff, but make it not hit us and just hit our opponents, So yeah, as a commander, I think it's solid. I don't think it's the best Boros commander that's available, but it's certainly cool, it's new, it's interesting, and I like all of that. One thing that I haven't really mentioned yet, I think Haktos is really good in the 99 of other Boros decks. If you've just got an Aurelia deck, putting Haktos in there is going to be pretty good, I think. If you've got Iroas, it's going to be good in there. Any of the attack-based Boros decks, I think it's going to be a really good card. It's good against your own Blasphemous Act, it's good against your opponent's Blasphemous Act, neither of which will hit it. So it's just a creature that if you play with it carefully, it's going to sit there and it's going to be really hard for your opponents to interact with and just keep getting damage in. So that's what's cool about it. So yeah, I think it's going to be really good in the 99 of a lot of other Boros decks. So that's definitely worth checking out as well. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this nice long look at Haktos. And let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.